سكنا كركراس مسلاتنا سكنا نمراد منوحجيخن اعتبتنا يتكحر شويني بتن مسمري عيننا عيننا زيني سكروا فتصوم ويكنن مسمري حيننا هزبي حيننا ويكن شعر نسبة واشتوي لنا بينكم بولاتا تبني يكون مسوات المقصد كي سارة النفل زخف مكرا ودي غابي كفن مسمري حيننا حيننا وقوتينا مسمري حيننا حيننا وقوتينا مسمري حيننا حيننا تعودتينا
Tigray تسعر
Tigray تسعر
Tigray تسعر
Tigray تسعر
Tigray تسعر
Tigray تسعر
Tigray will prevail
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 Thank you so much everyone for coming as we come from ሰሙናዊ ሰልፍና ኣብ ዋሽንግተን ዲሲ ኣብ ስቴት ዲፓርትመንት ኢሞ እንትፈልጥዎ ኩነታት ትግራይ ካብ ሰሙን ናብ ሰሙን እናተቀያየረ እንታይ ከይመስል ብምንታይ መልክዕ ኸ ንዓና ይፀልወና እንታይ ከ ክንገብር ይግበአና በደብል ሕፀ ዝበለ መለክኩም ወደ ዓመት ይበፅሕ ስለ ደሎ ኣብራ ኣይተመስገን ጎበና ስለ ደሎ ናይ ንኳዕፅዐ ማለት ኣላንፈልና ንዓመት ፍቀስ
أمامات معالت السلامي بحالي معالت حكومي بحالي نتعامل الناس صريحة عزيزي الله بعد عندنا ولدنا مايلة ولا بينه سيكون عبد العمد خلالنا سيكون نسأل لو من عبد العمد سيكون غنيتون هنا تسفاق الجبل لا تسفاق البرانو لا تناون تفاحلنا عدنا حسبنا قابلين يسلقم نسألو أي كلنا شكرين أي كل بعض صلاة يكونن أي كل كنيات ترى يكونن الذين نحاول إجابنا نقبلنا ما نجيز كنا تنتظر ترى تسفاق كلنا تسفاق البرانو وينو تግራይ ሓደሽቲ ዴቨሎፕመንት ብሎ ያው ድሕሪ ዓመት ቅዱላ እንደገና ሪስትራክቸር ዝኾነ ጊዜያዊ መንግስቲ ትክዶና እዩ መረባ ግዜ ጊዜያዊ መንግስቲ ንምምዝምም ጀነራል ታደሰ حرير له حدش كونن قبل حلفات بحر السجود لازم حلفات مهمة maybe that is the حنت عمد هذا لازم نعمله كم تتريو السنوات كله بعلتهم ينقص جزاء من السنة ناوحده لأن ناوحيه احنا زيلنا يو ارقام يو السنه فاتو دغه سوزي بعتنا زمصانا يسنغبات مسلات بركتنا هذا بالسنه معنات حتى عمك هذا لازم انا زريني لا حتى عمك ديا كريتيكال يا حالف الجدل كله تجدد كريتيكال يا الى امر كريتيكال جرا هذه فيل تغيرنا كمزينا فيل تግራይ كم تግራይ تصعد حبيت صعد ونعطرت مستند حدش نجار يكون عندنا زي تجارب يكون حزون نبي تعمل زاكن تግራይ نحن برا خذنا برا تግራይ وديها عمل من بيت عمل من بحراس خالص تبتاتنا ቋንቋውን ነፍስ عمر الساعة تجمر الجزء سمات محرنا سمات مقبار تدري الجزء تاتي لكنا محرنا خزارة منبر تقرينا في زارة وزبر نحن منه وحقيقي على عمل ما يتعمل زورات عالي سندقنا من النتور رقاقسي أبصبوك زبانا أحد النت سلسل عيد سمع له نتاتنا هذا لما خمس زمان ناوينا على خير الناس هذا حق عمل معي كريتيكاليا إلكا ردادي خا وبوق زبانا سرحتنا نسرح زخلنا ودات كل سرح يقل سرعات كي يقولون ناوي يقولون بعد تاعي باي ذا واي توم ما راح تترايكم احنا ولا نقدروا بيننا سرعات كي يهلوا سرعات محلو سرعات محلنا وعلى خاوي سرعات ما ندري هذا سبب المتوتري اللي زي فتحايو لبنا تفاخر سمونا تفاخر لأن زي اللي ناقركا من ناقر خيم تفاخر فلما سرعات كي يهلوا الناس بيقدروا قاعدة الذي يخيقون لما حار حزين حتى شكلي وش سرح لبي خليني ما لتكبر لا خبيني هذا خبيت فرتات يا خبيت سردينا لما تاخن قبر احنا قال انت ترى فهمنا تي زلوا كوميونيتينا زلوا تون ناي ديسكورس تون ناي زرربنا ناي كتعنا تون كما حيش ህዝብ ተጠቅም ነገር ንዘራረበን ሰባት ስም ዘይነጥፈን እዚህ እንገብር ይሁን ምክንያቱም ምንም ረው ሁሉ ተባሃይና ሃይሜ እንታይ ትሪፍና ጋር ህዝቡን ገለይ ጥፊሩ ገለይ ተገሩና ተሃና አንተ ተወጥትና ካይና ንቅርሚት ወነ ዘንድ ወሳት ስለዚህ حتى نستحقله وإنا نحن نستحقله كمينا نستحقله الرمينا كم يأخذ دوري كم يأخذ قوم اللوبا إحنا ونزي هذا نابلنا كنعد كنساتف إنا نتو كنكذا لذي زي عالم الواحد حنتعد لنا تنا نسمع نقبر توقع راح تناول كافتو على ما يرب حاشا كاينا حاشا مرنا كلنا علينا ناي بوليتيكا ناي وكابة ناي قلت زيكونا ناي حزب قداي حدا نقود من حدا رمضان كلها أبا فوكس في تسرح بينهم تسرح إذا خلهم كنا تاتفت والساطم السال مقبار لما نحناينا حي كنو لهم زي قبالنا ونحنا وشيء لازم تعميم عدل حرحرشة سبات وحي يخم تفلت كارد تصاوي تفلت سبت اليوم كارد عدلك كامو لدي حي تكون كان كارد وصل كم عدل في أحد لك قلت تصاوي هذا سعرنا ايه في أحد لك المرم اللي جوكر نحرزي بالله قزاع نحرزي بالله كايكون كان لازم حيزول هاي الناس وهذا النار قرنو اسبوع أول كلاتنا نسرح نسرح كل بونا نفدر كم تعقل سوالا زاود عمتون ناس خلص كبرنا ولبونا خلون خلص تكبرنا لهم مش هذول بس ترى بجد هاي إسبيرينك أسفاح الفرد بقى في الوقت كيو تايدا كل بركاني راح ما كم شيء بساطة دادا كيو كنا أسفاح الفرد تجا تجراي تمالي مالي يتسلل سوا دول كلهم فترة صلاة كلهم هذا تسفنا معنى قالوا كل فيلم عزيز الماء عاي تسفنا والله بعرنا ودور كل ملاسي زمنا هاوي زمان عزيز النسوة تتراخر وتحيينا كلها تناصر نفضل صوت عينهم ورطوا مويا أننا لكم كنزل لكم نفصل لكم نحن قبرنا لكم وفلان مقبار نحساب صبوز لا يطور نحساب عدنا حذو عدنا حاسبكم يهم يزور دي week after week of the Twitter تنزل لهم لازم أخذتم بريس مقبار يكون كم كان سمعنا ذلك كاسرات يوزيك الساعة في كابي من الوقت وين حيل تتم الملوز تعالوا في يكون عاتم يتملك توامي نا بتعرفه رابلنا زلنا تزعل عمتون سبوي جورنا ሰላም ቴሌፎን ወረና በስለተ ሰላም ሰላም thank you
thank you so much the message as usual. So good morning everyone again. We are Tigray Americans. We've been coming here to this ground for the last 4 years and a half, demanding justice and accountability for the crime was committed November 2020 until November 2022. For almost 2 years, Tigray was under siege. A genocidal war was waged on our people. Over 1 million innocent lives was perished surely. Ethiopia, Eritrea, and others was using rape and hunger as a weapon. The world didn't see since the Second World War. Then the United States government effort, the war ended in November 2022. And the United States government and the international community forced the Ethiopian government and the Tigray government to sign an agreement to silence the guns. And we know this is a new administration, President Trump's administration. Yes, the United States government worked hard to sign this agreement by both parties, by Ethiopia and Tigray. But we are here to remind President Trump's administration the agreement was signed and the United States government put an effort, spent a lot of money, time, sending several invoices, several meetings, spend millions of dollars, has not been implemented. Still, Tigray is under occupation. More than 40% of the territory of Tigray is under Eritrea and the Amhara regional government. Close to 2 million people are still displaced. They didn't return home, especially to Western Tigray, Northeastern Tigray, and Southern Tigray. Victims of genocide, especially our women who have been a victim of sexual violation. Some of them were kept in the Eritrea and Ethiopian camps for months and months as sexual slaves. The Ethiopian and the Eritrean troops was purposely infecting our women and our girls with HIV and other transmitted diseases. This woman deserves justice. And we are here to demand again and again the United States government to fully implement this agreement, to force the Ethiopian government and others to implement this agreement. Then our life, our people's life, to go back to normal. The world, the Christian world, is preparing to celebrate Easter this Sunday. But at Tigrayan Christians, at the home of Christianity, the first home of Christianity in Africa, we're not celebrating Easter because we are still under systematic genocide. We are still under systematic hunger. We are still displaced from our homes. We are still occupied by enemies, Eritrea and the Amhara regional government. So we are here to demand the U.S. government, while you are celebrating Easter, think of the people around the world, like Tigrayans and others, that who can celebrate, and help them celebrate their holiday, help them live their life. That is the principle of the United States of America. So we are here to demand to implement Pretoria Agreement. Implement Pretoria Agreement!
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 U.S. pressure Ethiopia!
Implement Pretoria Agreement!
U.S. pressure Ethiopia!
Implement Pretoria Agreement!
U.S. pressure Ethiopia!
Implement Pretoria Agreement!
Ethiopia is violating Pretoria Agreement!
Implement Pretoria Agreement!
Ethiopia is violating Pretoria Agreement!
Implement Pretoria Agreement!
Ethiopia is violating Pretoria Agreement!
Implement Pretoria Agreement.
Our original government is invading Tigray.
Implement Pretoria Agreement.
All invaders out of Tigray.
Implement Pretoria Agreement.
All invaders out of Tigray.
Implement Pretoria Agreement.
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 U.S. pressure Ethiopia.
Implement Pretoria Agreement.
U.S. pressure Ethiopia.
Implement Pretoria Agreement.
U.S. hold Ethiopia accountable.
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 Implement Pretoria Agreement.
U.S. implement Pretoria Agreement.
Implement Pretoria Agreement.
U.S. implement Pretoria Agreement.
Implement Pretoria Agreement.
Secretary Rubio act now.
Implement Pretoria Agreement.
Secretary Rubio act now.
Implement Pretoria Agreement.
Implement Pretoria Agreement now.
Implement Pretoria Agreement.
Secretary Rubio act now.
Implement Pretoria Agreement.
Acknowledge Tigray genocide now.
Implement Pretoria Agreement.
Acknowledge Tigray genocide now.
Implement Pretoria Agreement.
Accountability for Tigray genocide.
Implement Pretoria Agreement.
Accountability for Tigray genocide.
Implement Pretoria Agreement.
U.S. acknowledge Tigray genocide.
Implement Pretoria Agreement.
U.S. acknowledge Tigray genocide.
Implement Pretoria Agreement.
Call it Tigray genocide.
Implement Pretoria Agreement.
Call it Tigray genocide.
Implement Pretoria Agreement.
It is a 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 21st century Holocaust.
Implement Pretoria Agreement.
It is a 21st century Holocaust.
Implement Pretoria Agreement.
U.S. acknowledge Tigray genocide.
Implement Pretoria Agreement.
U.S. acknowledge Tigray genocide.
Implement Pretoria Agreement.
U.S. call it Tigray genocide.
Implement Pretoria Agreement.
U.S. call it Tigray genocide.
Implement Pretoria Agreement.
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 Thank you. Maybe secretary ከአቱ ይኽእል ጋሽ ወሪዱሎም ዓይንና በደንብ ነው ፈት go ahead.
We demand justice. 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 Justice for the people of Tigray. We demand justice. Justice for the people of Tigray. We demand justice. 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 We demand justice in Ethiopia. We demand justice. We demand justice in Ethiopia. We demand justice. We demand justice. We demand justice. We demand justice in Ethiopia. We demand justice. 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 We demand justice in Ethiopia. We demand justice. All invaders out of Tigray. We demand justice. All invaders out of Tigray. We demand justice. We demand justice. We demand justice. We demand justice in Ethiopia. We demand justice. All invaders out of Tigray. We demand justice. 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 Amhara Prosperity Party occupy Western Tigray. We demand justice. Amhara Prosperity Party occupy Western Tigray. We demand justice. Amhara Prosperity Party committed ethnic cleansing in Western Tigray. We demand justice. Amhara groups are committing genocide in Western Tigray. We demand justice. We demand justice. We demand justice. We demand justice in Ethiopia. We
demand justice.
Eritrean troops out of Tigray.
We demand justice.
Eritrean troops are committing genocide in Tigray.
We demand justice.
Eritrean troops out of Tigray.
We demand justice.
Eritrean force out of Tigray.
We demand justice.
We demand justice.
We demand justice.
Full implementation of Pretoria Agreement.
We demand justice.
Full implementation of Pretoria Agreement.
We demand justice.
Urge Ethiopian government to implement Pretoria Agreement.
We demand justice.
Urge Ethiopian authority to implement Pretoria Agreement.
We demand justice.
Full implementation of Pretoria Agreement.
We demand justice.
Restoring status quo ante for the Tigray region.
We demand justice.
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 We demand justice in Ethiopia.
We demand justice.
We demand justice in Ethiopia.
We demand justice.
For implementation Pretoria Agreement.
We demand justice.
Ethiopian officials are not willing to implement Pretoria Agreement.
We demand justice.
Urge Ethiopian officials to implement Pretoria Agreement.
We demand justice.
Urge Ethiopian government to implement Pretoria Agreement.
We demand justice.
Full implementation Pretoria Agreement.
We demand justice.
Urge Ethiopian officials to implement Pretoria Agreement.
We demand justice.
Restoring status quo ante for the Tigray region.
We demand justice.
Restoring status quo ante for the Tigray region.
We demand justice.
We demand justice.
We demand justice.
Praise God.
Thank you. Arab.
Yes. Mike.
Yeah, here we are, Tigrayans, for justice. Tigray have been in indiscriminate crime without justice, and we are here demanding accountability for the crimes happen in Tigray. The crime happen in Tigray is worse than Ukraine, worse than Gaza. But still, Tigray didn't get any justice yet. So here we are demanding justice for Tigray. Tigray demands justice.
We demand 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 justice.
Tigray demands justice.
We demand justice.
We demand justice.
We demand justice.
Accountability for Tigray.
We demand justice.
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 Tigray demands justice.
We demand 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 justice.
Tigray demands justice.
We demand justice.
Acknowledge Tigray genocide.
We demand justice.
Solid by its name, Tigray genocide.
We demand justice.
It is a genocide.
We demand justice.
Solid Tigray genocide.
We demand justice.
It is a genocide.
We demand justice.
Solid Tigray genocide.
We demand justice.
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 Tigray demands justice.
We demand 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 justice.
Acknowledge Tigray genocide.
We demand justice.
Solid by its name, Tigray genocide.
We demand justice.
It is a genocide.
We demand justice.
It is a genocide.
We demand justice.
Solid by its name, Tigray genocide.
We demand justice.
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 Tigray demands justice.
We demand 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 justice.
Justice for Tigray.
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 We demand
Justice denied.
We demand justice.
Justice delayed. Justice denied.
We demand justice.
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 Justice in Ethiopia.
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 We demand justice.
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 Justice in Ethiopia.
We demand justice.
Justice in Ethiopia.
We demand justice.
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 We demand accountability.
We demand justice.
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 Justice for Tigray.
We demand justice.
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 Tigray demand this justice.
We demand 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 justice.
Accountability for Tigray.
We demand justice.
We demand justice.
We demand justice.
Now that Tigray genocide.
We demand justice.
Valid by stem Tigray genocide.
We demand justice.
It is a genocide.
We demand justice.
Valid by stem Tigray genocide.
We demand justice.
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 Thank you. Yo-yo.
Justice for Tigray.
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 Justice for the people of 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 Tigray.
Justice for Tigray.
Justice for Tigray.
Justice for Tigray.
Justice for Tigray.
Mr. Secretary Mark Rubio, justice for people of Tigray.
Justice for Tigray.
Justice for Tigray.
Justice for Tigray.
Mr. Secretary Mark Rubio, justice for people of Tigray.
Justice for Tigray.
Mr. Secretary Mark Rubio, justice for people of Tigray.
Justice for Tigray.
Justice for people of Tigray.
Justice for Tigray.
Mr. President Donald Trump, justice for people of Tigray.
Justice for Tigray.
Mr. President Donald Trump, justice for people of Tigray.
Justice for Tigray.
Mr. President Donald Trump, justice for the people of Tigray.
Justice for Tigray.
Justice for Tigray.
Justice for Tigray.
Mr. Secretary Mark Rubio, implement the Plea agreement.
Justice for Tigray.
Mr. Secretary Mark Rubio, implement the Plea agreement.
Justice for Tigray.
Justice for the people of Tigray.
Justice for Tigray.
Justice for the genocide victim in Tigray.
Justice for Tigray.
Justice for the rape victim in Tigray.
Justice for Tigray.
Justice for the IDP in Tigray.
Justice for Tigray.
Justice for the refugee people in Tigray.
Justice for Tigray.
Justice for the teacher in Tigray.
Justice for Tigray.
Justice for children in Tigray.
Justice for 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 Tigray.
Mr. Secretary Mark Rubio, justice for the people of Tigray.
Justice for Tigray.
Mr. President Donald Trump, justice for the people of Tigray.
Justice for Tigray.
Implement the Plea agreement now.
Justice for Tigray.
Justice for the people of Tigray.
Justice for Tigray.
Mr. Mark Rubio, justice for the people of Tigray.
Justice for Tigray.
Justice for the people
Tigray!
Freedom for the people of Tigray!
Justice for Tigray!
Peace for the people of Tigray!
Justice for Tigray!
Humanitarian aid for the people of Tigray!
Justice for Tigray!
Justice for the people of Tigray!
Justice for Tigray!
Justice for Tigray!
Justice for Tigray!
Thank you so much. Thank you. قرب كنصنح هنا just in case we got lucky today. ስለዚህ ብዙ ኃይል ራም ከወጣና እንትና ወና كنصنح هنا ማለት ነው። ምናልባት So this is a plea for hope. This is a plea for saving our people. We know the United States government a lot on their plate. Gaza, Ukraine, and others. But the crisis in Ethiopia is worse. Ethiopia is, we speak pragmatic. There is no peace in Ethiopia at all. But most of all, our people, the people of Tigray, are the victims of Ethiopia. As Ethiopians, we are victims of Ethiopia. Ethiopia waged a war on us 4 years and a half ago, colliding with Eritrea, Somalia, United Arab Emirates, China, Russia, Turkey, and others, and kill over 1 million innocent lives. Children, elderly, women, young men who have future to be doctors, engineers, to contribute to their hometown Tigray. Their hopes was taken away because Ethiopia decided to eradicate us, to wipe us out of this earth. Ethiopia not only waged war on our people, put our nation to cry, and they're completely siege for 2 years. There was no supplies coming in Tigray. There was no communication in Tigray. There was no power in Tigray. No electricity, no telephone, no television, no radio whatsoever. So Tigray can be disconnected from the world. Ethiopia didn't stop here. Ethiopia cut off the water supply to our people. Water is life. How can a human being survive without water? So Ethiopia committed this heinous crime against us. And the world turned their face, turned their back on our people. No one was helping. It was us. It was our young men, brave men, who decided to defend themselves and their homes. And yet, Ethiopia is trying to wage another war with Eritrea, with a friend of hers, 4 years and a half ago, and killed our people. So, America, the world ground is going to be Tigray again. So as Americans, we are here to inform you, to tell you that another genocidal war is coming to Tigray. So we are here to inform you as the U.S. citizens to stop this crisis from happening. To implement this Pretoria agreement was signed 2 years and a half ago. The United States government spent a lot of money and time to bring Ethiopia and Tigray to peace. On our end, on Tigray's end, everything is done, including DDR. the only hope, the only independent we have to stay alive. But Ethiopia is not doing nothing. So we are here to ask the new administration, His Excellency Secretary to send his envoys to Ethiopia again and to pressure the Ethiopian government to tell them by the language they know, by sanctioning, by restriction, and by enforcing, so they can implement this Pretoria agreement. If this agreement is not implemented, it's not only Ethiopia, the entire region, East Africa is going to be in crisis. So we are here to inform you, sir. We are here as the U.S. citizens, as your fellow Americans, to listen to us today and to pick up your phone and call the Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed to fully implement the Pretoria Agreement and to stop interfering with our government. This is our demand today. So we're going to ask the United States government to break their silence. Silence is violence!
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 U.S. break your silence!
Silence is violence!
U.S. break your silence!
Silence is violence!
U.S. break your silence!
Silence is violence!
Acknowledge Tigray genocide!
Silence is violence!
Acknowledge Tigray genocide!
Silence is violence!
Call it Tigray genocide!
Silence is violence!
Call it Tigray genocide!
Silence is violence!
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 U.S. implement Pretoria Agreement!
Silence is violence!
U.S. implement Pretoria Agreement!
Silence is violence!
Silence is violence!
Silence is violence!
Secretary Rubio, act now!
Silence is violence!
Secretary Rubio, act now!
Silence is violence!
Acknowledge Tigray genocide now!
Silence is violence!
Acknowledge Tigray genocide now!
Silence is violence!
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 U.S. acknowledge Tigray genocide!
Silence is violence!
U.S. acknowledge Tigray genocide!
Silence is violence!
U.S. call it Tigray genocide!
Silence is violence!
U.S. call it Tigray genocide!
Silence is violence!
There is a 21st century Holocaust in Tigray!
Silence is violence!
The crisis of Tigray is worse than Gaza!
Silence is violence!
The crisis in Tigray is worse than Ukraine!
Silence is violence!
U.S. act now!
Silence is violence!
U.S. act now!
Silence is violence!
End the crisis in Ethiopia now!
Silence is violence!
End the crisis in Ethiopia now!
Silence is violence!
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 Secretary Rubio, break your silence!
Silence is violence!
Secretary Rubio, break your silence!
Silence is violence!
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 Thank you so much. Thank you. Program natin at tingawon sa Japanese ambassador staff who went in. He's in his office. Hopefully, sabi ko ng kawantas pangalakan. So that's what we do every week. There is only one reason we come here. I want you guys to understand in this holiday, we gather with your family. Tell them that you go every week to the State Department to have the process. We have one reason why we're doing this process. We want criminals to state Ethiopia and Eritrea to hold accountable for the crime they committed on our people. The crime of genocide. That's the only reason we come here. حزب Tigray is فتح خمس سايكلين من نص Tigray فتح خمس سايكلين سراوي Tigray فتح خمس سايكلين فتح genocide كم صرخ دايسبورا على الوضع. ስለዚህ فتح حزبنا خرجته عبدنا كحز እቶም ገበን ንፈጽሙ በገበሮም ክሕተቱ እቲ ገበን ከአብሹም ክጽዋ ኢና ናብ ዝመጽ ካለይ ምንም ዓይነት ኢንትረስት የለና ፖለቲካ መልእኽቲ የለና ወገናዊነት የለና ግን ናናን ህዝብ ትግራይን ጽራህ So we're not going to stop coming here to this ground until justice is served for our people. Let's keep in mind this holiday. The more we voice, the more we'll be heard. More So let's call your representative, have a meeting with your representative. Senators, Congress, زعبة تجري كتناقروهم زعبة صدرهم كتناقروهم بس سلكم يوقفوا citizens لازم خنزر قبل فتحين حزبنا على نفسه أو دعمتي قبل لنا سلامي رخبنا برنامجنا بتروينا شلون عندك كلودين
وكاين سعر صحينا داي بولا ما يبرد ما يجبن نفسي عبدو جغني رقري تنقولا نتراس بعديهم بينا بيت الكثر كلتو يتكويت بينا مسوي حينا مسوي حينا وكاين سعر وكاين صعب جرب زابي ريتي توبنا أرسقنا يكبكر أسمع صلاتنا سقانا ناموراد بنوح جيخون أتنتنا يتكهر ويني بتل مسمري حينا وكاين صعب وكاين سعر أمس مزنبا فاششتاوي ندى منكم ولا تعالى بدنا يقول مسات المقصد كسارة ذهب مكان مشوي حالنا مشوي حالنا مسمري حينا سرع خلاص وعودينا
تقراي تسعر
تقراي تسعر
تقراي تسعر
تقراي تسعر
تقراي تسعر
تقراي تسعر
تقراي البريمير
تقراي البريمير
تقراي البريمير
تقراي البريمير
Thank you so much Marta Abena Bonus General Alexander Loa Hamole